Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2022.
Yes.
Welcome to the first show of the year on Timcast IRL. And this is an election year. It is a Maine election year. 2020 was the biggest election year. 2019 was the primary season. 2018 was the midterms. 2021 is when everyone is just zoned out. They are beaten down and tired. 2022, the House, the Senate, they're at stake. And we are there are predictions from many pollsters, many analysts of a red tsunami. Now, it's not just that people are sick and tired of Democrats, that independent voters are favoring Republicans in the double digits. It's that gerrymandering also just happened. Redistricting happened. And now there's an expectation that all of these Republican-controlled states, because people were voting in their local elections, have set it up so that Republicans are more likely to win. Combined with the fact that we have a massive number of Democrats retiring. Fox News reports surge in House Democratic 2022 retirement announcements as 2021 comes to a close. They say a trio of Democrats in the House, Reps Stephanie Murphy of Florida, Lucille Roybal Allard of California, and Albio Sires of New Jersey last week said they'll retire at the end of next year rather than run in the 2022 midterm elections for another term in Congress. The latest news brought to 23 the number of House Democrats who are retiring or bidding for another office. We just got news that I think, who was it? Bobby Rush?
Was the name?
Mm-hmm. Is also not going to be seeking re-election. There's actually an announcement from a bunch of Democrats who had lost in 2018, who were going to try and run again, also now announcing they're not even going to bother trying to run, even though they aren't in office. Something is happening. I think the Democrats see the writing on the wall. Nobody wants to be that losing candidate. So they're like, what's the point? If you can't win, do something else. A bunch of these Democrats are running for other offices, in the state, governorships or whatever. Many are just bowing out. I don't know, man. Red wave? What do you think?
It seems like if the election were held, next week, that would be the case, right? The question, I think, is can the Democrats instill some confidence on issues like what's happening in the economy, what's happening with COVID? I think Biden's mandate was basically normalcy, right? Can he create a normal political, social, and economic environment? And I think part of that is like getting past the pandemic. Part of that is getting past COVID-19. And I think there's people within his political party that really don't want to do that. They're not ready for that. I think they've inculcated a certain mindset among a lot of the Democrats on COVID-19 that it's just very hard to overcome, even though there are signs that I think the Biden administration is pushing in that direction.
I don't think they're going to be able. Look, I hate to say I know what's going to happen. I don't. Based on everything we've seen with the polls, I think it's fairly likely the Democrats, they know what's happening. The writing's on the wall. But I want to show you. You mentioned Joe Biden. I want to show you this meme that's been going around. I did not make this.
Yep.
It says 2020, Biden-Harris. Every single COVID death is someone Donald Trump murdered. 2021, Joe Biden eating an ice cream cone. There's nothing I can do, Jack. That's where we're at. Joe Biden, the Democrat. Look, I think the Democrats voters, they voted for Biden because they hate Trump. Without Trump, they have no identity. That was their whole rallying cry was Orange Man bad, and now there's nothing. Going into the midterms, you've got parents who are livid. You've got an economy in shambles. You've got Joe Biden saying there's nothing we can do at the federal level. Well, I'll tell you this. You vote in the primaries and get rid of all of the establishment Republicans, bring in some populists who believe in America. They'll bring your jobs back. They'll secure your borders. They'll make sure the country's economy is getting back on track. I don't necessarily have anything to say about an individual candidate. But I'll tell you, the Democrats ain't going to do it. They have become the party of big business, massive corporate wealth. You take a look at people like Hassan Piker, who is one of the most prominent voices among progressives, and he supports the government mandating you be administered a private product from a massive multinational, unaccountable corporation with no liability protections. And I don't care what the dude says he claims about, I don't care what his claims are about supporting universal health care and nationalization of big pharma. It's like, dude, you're sitting here right now telling us that you want the government to be able to mandate a private product to be administered to people if they want to engage in public accommodations, if they want to be able to use these things. I'm sorry. This is what the modern left is. This is, he's one of the, if not the biggest political commentator on the left. And that's what young leftists follow. Support for that kind of system. Not always. Not everybody who watches likes him. I get that. But that to me is insane. I can sit here all day and say that a lot of Trump supporters are in a cult and worship the ground Trump walks on. I can say that Donald Trump he represents the worst of American culture, in my opinion. I can say he had a lot of really good policies, and as much as a lot of people didn't like him for who he was actually bringing factories back. He was trying to secure America's borders and bolster our economy. So people, whether they liked him or not, they voted for him. There's certainly a lot of people who love him. We're not getting that from the establishment. The Democrats are offering us nothing other than Trump is bad. And people, they're like, I don't know anything about that at that point. Trump's not the president. The economy is in shambles. My life is not going well. I'm tired of the lockdowns. They just brought back mask mandates down the street because we're on the border of the county. And it makes literally no sense. And I'm like, these people need to be stripped of all power. They are completely insane. And that is the Democratic Party and the Republican establishment.